Hey everybody, welcome to this live stream today. Just having a little bit of coffee time, just playing around a little bit with FlutterFlow tonight. Thought I'd do something a little bit different. Instead of having something a bit too formal, I thought I would put a live stream together. We'll take a look at some of the new features that have dropped into FlutterFlow today. It's June the 2nd, and we've got a few new features which have dropped in. I've been playing with them for about the last hour or so, and I'll take you through those in a wee while. Yeah, certainly put a message in the chat, everybody. Let us know that you can hear me okay. It's a bit of a new for me. I've not done live streams before. So we're doing something slightly different in this one. We're doing a more of a web app sort of build, using a little bit of inspiration. Hey, thank you very much. I can Plantera Tierra 360. Thank you very much for confirming that you can hear me okay. That's good. So yeah, instead of doing hey Edwin, hey, great. It's a little bit of an impromptu stream. I thought I would just kick something off tonight. But yeah, no, I thought I'd do. But I'm putting some sort of applications together for some future videos. So I thought that instead of kind of like doing something when a project is done, I thought I would kind of show you kind of the thought process behind some of the stuff that I'm working on, where kind of some of the inspiration comes from, and how you can kind of apply it into kind of what you build. So what I was doing was I was thinking to myself, I know some of the community have been asking for some more web type stuff to be covered instead of it being kind of more sort of mobile app. So I thought what I'll do is I'll have a look around, just look for a bit of inspiration to kind of put something together, just something quite simple. And if you look around the web, you'll see kind of lots of examples of kind of like mobile dashboards and all that kind of stuff. And I come across this particular site, which I quite like. And I sort of thought to myself, something. Let's try putting a little bit of this together in FlutterFlow. This is like an Angular and React sort of dashboard. It's really nice. I quite like it. It's quite clean and tidy. So I thought what I'll do is I'll start putting something together to kind of replicate the look and feel of this, just as something to sort of play with. And so I thought I'll do a bit of a stream, sort of show you where I've got to so far. I've only started this this last night actually, and I've spent a couple of hours on it. And this is kind of what I've got so far. So just a home screen, but I thought it was quite good actually, because I had some components here that I've just kind of created. I had just a projects one, which is the one that you kind of see just here actually. But what was really good is that the Flutter team today have dropped a new conditional builder widget actually into FlutterFlow today, which is really useful for actually swapping out components with inside your kind of UI conditionally. So what I've done is in this particular application, it's quite straightforward. We've just got a usual kind of container as kind of like the parent. We've kind of got an overall column. We've got a main container again, which is a bit of a wrapper, and then we've got this main container rows. We've got this column, and with inside here, you can see, if I just bring this down, actually, you can see we've got the navigation container here on the left hand side, which has kind of got like some conditional visibility set. And then we've got the kind of the main page column, and this is where kind of all of the action will take place, is inside this page column. And so what I've done is I kind of I've created a new kind of data type to look after the visibility, the conditional visibility of these particular components. So this is really nice. I don't know if you guys have used sort of data types yet. I know it's something that's pretty new into FlutterFlow, but I'll walk you through that in a second and how I'm using the data type, which is linked into some application state, which is keeping track of whether something is kind of enabled or not. So I'll show you that in a sec. But what's really nice about it is that this new FlutterFlow widget that's now just down this conditional builder, I've kind of hooked that onto that application state variable. So instead of having kind of separate application state variables to track whether something is in view, is visible, it's now nice to be able to use a data type where you can shape that up yourself, and then you can then actually hook that actually onto the conditional builder. So I'll sort of walk you through that now. Let's have a look at the actual data type that we've got created. So what I've done is I've kind of got this this top level navigation sort of data type here, and then I've kind of got screen. And screen is a list of kind of just a way for me to kind of have like a key. So my key is my navigation title, which is a project, and then I've got analytics, which is kind of two keys. And I've got a value here, a Boolean value to track whether it's actually selected or not. So I thought this was really quite nice. And I love the way that data types allow you to have that flexibility now where you can kind of keep track of, you kind of like, your conditional visibility or any kind of values that you want to store with inside your data types. So I thought it was really, really smart. And what I've done is inside the actual application state, which is just here. I'll get my bearings. I've got this one called navigation. And you can see here actually that I've got some values already set up for this particular project. So I've got my kind of a list of screens, and inside there I've got the key called project, and it's selected by default because that's the first one. And then I've got this other one here which is called analytics, which is not selected. So that's nice. And of course, as I create more kind of pages in the application, I can actually now build this list up, and I can actually just then use this to keep track of kind of the page navigation. So I'll just cancel that. This one is visible at the bottom. I'll show you that very, very shortly. So that's kind of like the UI, and that's kind of as you can see here, I've got like an analytics page, which is just a really basic page at this moment, and the projects page, which is a little bit more. And I've done some additional work in here as well over kind of more the responsive side, and you'll see that when I actually fire this up, pretty shortly. And then I've got the welcome component again, which is really just a copy of the analytics component. So it's really quite straightforward. When I actually sort of run this up now, you can see on here that I've kind of got the project one selected. If I choose analytics, you can see that just quite easily with inside the application now, with using that new widget that they've introduced, allows me to quickly interchange between those two particular components. And of course, this application as well is kind of responsive. Let's press F12 here. Now, let me just, I don't know if you guys do it this particular way, but this is the way that I like to do. I kind of just sort of test things out a little bit. It's doing F12. And then you can kind of just get that sense that your kind of responsive is working. Now, the only downside about doing it in this particular way is that some of the animations don't kind of play out. As you can see, as I hover over these, I'm not seeing any of the animations, but it's just a quick way when you actually publish this as a web application, you can just easily just make sure that your kind of responsive stuff is working quite nicely. So you can see here that I'm changing the typeface size here, depending on my breakpoints. And I can just bring it in here, and you can see that then I'm just removing these buttons from the visibility and just introducing two new kind of icon buttons that's just underneath me avatar there. So what I was trying to copy, because I think they do a really good job in this particular web app, is this is kind of like the kind of the web app that I kind of took for inspiration. And I'm getting pretty close there to the kind of look and feel that sort of replicates kind of what I'm kind of looking for. So I haven't introduced any of these kind of pages yet or anything like that. I just try to get kind of like the typeface sort of implemented and all that kind of stuff. Again, this is not to sell. This is really just to use as kind of like a sample. And of course, I can always push this out as a clonable project to you guys once I've done a little bit more work on it. Show you kind of how it kind of sort of puts together. Just grab coffee. Sorry, guys, I keep wiping my nose. It's hay fever season at the moment in the UK, so we're just Suffering from the usual allergies that kick around this time of year. So how many got? We've got eight watching at the moment. Hey everybody, hope you're all good. I just thought, for those who've joined us, I just thought I'd do something a little bit different tonight, just for sort of half an hour, 45 minutes. I thought I'll just test this out as a little bit of a first for me in terms of doing a bit of a stream. So yeah, feel free to say hello in the chat if you like. More than happy to see familiar faces in the chat as well. People who I've may tried to sort of contact on the comments across various videos and all that kind of stuff that I've pushed out. So is anybody in the chat? Feel free to put in there if anybody's actually looked at this this conditional builder widget that's dropped in today. Feel free to put some comments in on what your thoughts are. It's quite handy. It's quite a nice widget compared to kind of how you may have done kind of brought in components and that and tried to do some sort of conditional visibility. I kind of like it. It kind of keeps it nice and tidy. If you actually click on the conditional builder on the right hand side here, you've now got these if and conditions now where you can actually now conditionally show the actual widgets that you kind of put inside. So if I actually click on the little edit here, you can see here now that I'm actually now editing this particular container. And here is the projects page component that I've kind of got here. Now, if I just go back over to the conditional builder and click on the little edit function here, you can see now I've got the analytics in there as well. So yeah, it really kind of keeps it nice and tidy. And one thing I find that kind of in the kind of the widget tree with FlutterFlow is that you can have a lot going on, and this certainly does make it a lot easier now to kind of navigate through the tree of your components. And yeah, so if you've got a lot of pages going on here, it makes a big difference. Yeah, so the else condition is just kind of like it's the kind of the default kind of widget that kind of gets displayed. So you can interchangeably just kind of turn these on and off, and allows you to then depending if you were actually using a kind of component here or just a series of widgets, you can kind of go in here and you can adjust things accordingly. So again, lots of use cases for this conditional builder. I'm just using it in this particular way, but certainly worth having a little play with. And the good thing about it as well, of course, is it does support animations as well. So as what I would generally do. So if let's just have a look at let's go down here to the analytics here. Let's choose this one. If I edit this, I can go down to the analytics page. Hey, Katrina, what are we building? We're not we're playing around a little bit. I just wanted to show you a little bit of a bit of an inspired kind of dashboard that I've started to create for a future series on my channel. But I thought I would do a stream tonight just to kind of have a little play around, show you what I'm up to. And it's a good opportunity to show perhaps this kind of new widget that's just dropped into FlutterFlow today. They've done an update, and I'm kind of like, when it dropped on me today, I was kind of looking at it thinking, my gosh, I've got to kind of reorientate myself with kind of like the UI, because every time they kind of make these changes, it takes me a while to get my head around where things are kind of positioned. So yeah, so just yeah, you'd be quite surprised that suddenly you've been using FlutterFlow for absolutely ages, but you're kind of thinking, oh, what's going on here? Where's this now moved to? It took me a while to get used to kind of like the theme settings moving over to the left-hand side. Yeah, going back to this. So analytics. So what's really nice about this is we can put an animation on this, and we can use an on-page load animation. So I can just hit plus here. Let's just do perhaps maybe just a slide in here, and let's put the initial position. Let's just push this out to say like 4, for example. If I just do an instant reload here, and sorry, not that. Let's go here. When it comes up. So yeah, just click on the analytics. You can just, okay, I didn't quite choose the right amount of milliseconds there, but you can just see that it kind of slides up. So it's, yeah, it's really, let's just put, say, 200 here, make it nice and quick. Go back here just so we can see that. Yeah, go to analytics. So there you go. So it's fully supports all the animation, which is nice, which of course most widgets do with inside FlutterFlow anyway. But yeah, really quite handy. So yeah, conditional builder. So let's have a look then how this is then kind of all set up. So let's go into the actual, yeah, let's go into app state. Let's have a look here. So we've already looked here. So just people who just joined us, we've got a little bit of application state here, which is kind of like this custom data type called navigation that I've created. I've kind of set this up here. That's kind of keeping track of the actual pages and whether they're actually selected. And on the left hand side, inside the application here, I've got a couple of let's just navigate into this a little bit. Let's just I need to move this out here. There we go. Click on the right one. Let's expand this out here. So you can see here, I've got a couple of mouse regions here, which are just trying to tracking the mouse in and mouse out. And kind of what that's doing is that's just basically playing out the project row kind of animation. So if I just go into there, like I can show you. So I've got like an on mouse enter and an on mouse exit. That's simply all it's doing is it's really starting the animation, and the on mouse exit is actually just then reversing the animation. So of course in test mode, as I just go down here, you can just see the text and the icon just moving out left and right. So that's pretty well much what the mouse region is doing for us there. I've got the animation set up on the projects row here, so we can just go here and it's on the trigger preview. You can just see them just moving in and out there. So that's all pretty simple stuff. And of course on the project container, let's open up. These are the kind of the key parts where it's kind of updating the application state. So I've got a little bit of custom function that I've set up behind the scenes, which actually what it's doing is it's actually clearing all of the selected options within inside the actual app state. So as I kind of select through these here, as soon as I actually click on it, it's actually wiping out the selected status of everything that's actually selected here. It's making it nice and easy for me, you see, because then it just saves me having to do it manually every single time. So call out a custom function, go through the app state, the list, turn all of the actual the selected Boolean values to false, and then of course independently I'll then set the actual selected sort of Boolean to true of the correct kind of like menu item that I've got here on the left hand side. So if we go into here, let's have a look at the action flow. So go back in here. So let me show you this one here. So this is the bit on every single option on the left-hand side. I've got me update app state. And you can see here that I'm calling out to the, if I just show you this here, let's go to, no, we'll keep that as it is. It's deselect screen. So I'm just getting my orientation here. Yeah, so I'm calling out to this function called deselect screen. I'm just passing the application state through. That's kind of basically just clearing everything out and then returning it back. And of course, that gets set as the value in the app state. So I just had to give them a bit of bearings there. So if I go into the custom functions, we can actually have a look there at that in action. Here is deselect screen. So here it is. I'm passing a list of screens in. I'm going through all of the screens. I'm making them all false, select them to false, and I'm just returning it back. And of course, once I return it back, I then save that back into the application state. So just looking at your comments there. Yeah, push notifications. Yeah, that's been asked quite a few times actually by people on push notifications. So yeah, I can cover that in a future video. That's no problem. I do want to get to probably a good state actually, where the series I'm running at the moment on the channel, where I'm currently building that goals tracking app. I think that'll be a good example, maybe to do some videos on actually getting that out to the actual app stores. So we'll see how that one goes. But I think that'll be a good one, because I know that a lot of people have actually asked for that as well on the channel, is actually getting applications actually out to the stores. So it might be good to include push notifications into that as well. So yeah, I've got my notepad to the side here. So once the stream's ended, I'll make a load of notes on all of the questions that's been asked, and I can cover that in future channels, videos and stuff like that. Good. I'm glad you're up for that. Yeah, I think it's important. I don't think there's been a huge amount of content that's generally covered across sort of YouTube on kind of the whole sort of start and end process of actually getting applications out in the store. So yeah, I'll certainly cover that. Yeah, I've done it a couple of times on some applications. It's not particularly trivial though. If you use sort of Code Magic and things like that, then that kind of helps. But the apps that I've done previously is I've kind of pulled the applications down from lost my train of thought now. Pull the application down into Flutter itself and actually then build the applications there within Flutter, and then actually push those out as kind of builds into the Google console and the App Store. So maybe I'll cover Code Magic. If I mean, let us know in the comments here if you want me to cover the sort of the Code Magic side, or the app, or going directly out for the App Store. I don't really know how many people in the Flutter, obviously in the no code world, are using FlutterFlow for pushing straight out to the stores from FlutterFlow, or you guys put them down to your local sort of local machine and build from there. So let's just move back out the custom code. Yeah, so simply, yeah, just a little bit of custom code here. I think in most cases, there's always going to be a point where you do need to call out to a bit of custom code. I think a lot in the sort of series that I've kind of put together, I do try to keep it to a minimum as I can. I mean, the Chat GTP series that I did really require, an extra kind of layer of custom code there. It's going to be quite difficult to kind of, keep that out of all sort of series that I do. But hopefully I've been explaining it as well as I can. I'll take it slowly. Let's go back out to this. So let's just go back into these actions here. Let's open up the action flow. So as I said, this calling out to our custom function, every single button on the left-hand side will call out to that function and then clear all the selected values that I'm storing in app state. And this is the particular one that actually does kind of like the key piece of work here. So if I just, so we're doing an update field, so go into update navigation, go to screens. And if I show you here, what I'm basically doing is I'm making it quite easy for myself here. I'm actually saying that the 0 index I know is my first button that I got on the left-hand side. Of course, 1, 2, 3, 4 will be everything consecutively. So I made it quite straightforward here. Every time I'm updating the app state here, I always know that I'm updating the projects screen, and I go in here, I update the fields, and I go into the selected value and I just set it as true. So I kind of do that again, actually on the other button as well. So if I go back to the close here, go back to the actual analytics one here, I'm doing exactly the same thing on here as well. So it's no different. And what's really nice about, sort of FlutterFlow is that you can just like copy and paste all these actions, and you can just paste them back in and just simply just go in there and just go here and just literally just make that little change here. So you can see I'm just pulling out one. But of course I could filter on the key. I'll show you where I've done that shortly. The key being the name that I've got with inside the app state. So I could just make sure I'm pulling out the right variable. So that's it. What else have I got to tell you about the navigation down on the left hand side? Probably not a lot really. On the actual overall navigation column here, got a conditional visibility that's set. Oh no, I've unset that actually. Yeah, I'm not doing update on. Let me just remove that. Actually, I don't need that on here. I've taken that off now. I've actually got the conditional visibility actually on the navigation container itself. So yeah, if I just go back here and show you the conditional visibility here, I've got this navigation is visible equals true. So if I go back to the app state here at the top level, I've got this this is visible here that I've got. So I'm just tracking whether that navigation is collapsed or expanded. Now I was having a few problems with this, because if I show you what we got here, is we got it actually here. I can just expand and collapse it. But you can see this is great, and this is how you'd expect it to work. But the problem that you've got, of course, and something I've got to fix, is if I go down here and set this on and off, it's not going to display or hide, because of course the conditional visibility is set at this particular time. So that's something I'm going to have to work out and fix. It doesn't make it particularly easy in FlutterFlow to kind of do that. So yeah, and of course what I'd like to also do is when I bring this, make it smaller, I'd like to you know, sort of enhance the navigation here. Maybe, you know, when you press up here, it shows a drop down there of all the, you know, the navigation items you've got down here. I've also, as well, in the inspiration dashboard here. So for everybody just joining, if you've just joined now, this is kind of like an Angular React JS dashboard that you can buy off the Avanto marketplace. And I kind of was looking around the web yesterday, I think, you know, what could I just sort of do as a guide to sort of see, you know, how can I get close? How close can I get to this application in FlutterFlow? And I don't think it's coming out particularly too bad at the moment. But you can see up here, they kind of got some other options up here. They kind of got a little search that kind of just drop downs from the top, and you can close it and get rid of it. Well, that's quite straightforward to implement. So if you go back into this test mode here, if I hit the little search, you can see it drop down. So it's you know, things like that is really quite straightforward. So how was that done? I'll just show you a little challenge I had actually as well. So let's go into, I've expanded all this out. Let's just, if I just click on it, it's probably easier to actually. So here's the stack here. So what I've got is I've got this. Oh, this keeps catching me out here. I need to bring this out. So here we've got the header search container, which is the if I just show the actual search container is the bit that kind of drops down. And if I just drag that up here, you can see now that I've got this view now in place here, but of course it's in the stack, it's behind. So of course I have to stick this kind of behind before, so I can actually work on it. So I could use a conditional visibility setting on there as well to kind of like, you know, hide that, which I might do actually. But at the moment, I only implemented this about an hour or two ago. So I'll just drop, put the header container back up here. There it is. So yes, all I'm really doing is there, I'm just hooking onto the, in fact, let me just bring that back actually, let me just show you. Oh, I keep doing that the wrong way around. There we go. So if I just show a little search here, so quite simply, all I'm actually doing is here is I'm just pulling out the widget animation. I'm just starting the animation of the header search container. So the header search container is just here, and you can see here that I've got this on action trigger. I can preview. You won't see because it's just behind, but it's got a starting position of -64, which is the height of this particular container. So it's off screen. So I'm literally just playing this out from -64 to the final position of 0, and then obviously comes into view. So it's just a really, really simple technique for just bringing something in from the side, from the top or the bottom or anything like that. So, but again, you know, in FlutterFlow, there's lots of different ways to implement stuff as well. That's the fantastic thing. And the product just keeps getting better and better and better. So one of the other things I do as well, I don't know if it's worth mentioning actually, sometimes when I was sort of looking at this, when I started looking at it to try and get my bearings in terms of kind of, you know, the paddings and margins, I often just press F12 in Google Chrome and I just kind of hit the little, you know, little navigator here, and I kind of just go up here, and it's nice to be able, you can get a good idea here of kind of like your paddings. You can see here that we've got 16, 16, 16, and then we've got 24 that's pushed on the left hand side. And all I did is I just went over here to the application. I actually just introduced exactly the same thing. So just it's worth if you're looking at you know, kind of using you know, like a website like, you know, like we've just got there as inspiration, it's worth kind of doing that and just getting a sense of kind of like, you know, spacing, all that kind of stuff. And I want to do a future video as well. I don't know if you guys have seen on Figma, where you can, the community, they got all these kind of design systems and stuff like that, and the design systems are absolutely fantastic. There's some really talented kind of designers out there. And not everybody are obviously it comes from a design world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a series together which actually shows you kind of how you can take a like a design system that may be in Figma, and how you can actually apply that design system actually into FlutterFlow itself. And of course, the key thing there is creating theme widgets and all that kind of stuff, so you can reuse this all the time. So you're basically recreating the design system using theme style widgets, and then it just means your page construction will be so much more accelerated. So let's just have a look at the comments here. Oh, thank you for all the thanks, guys, of all the work and stuff on the channels. Yeah, I mean, the videos do take an awful long time to, in fact, they often take a lot longer to edit than they do actually to record. But it's not only that, you've also got to spend a lot of time building the kind of the applications in the first place. But I tried not to make the applications too complicated in terms of the way they're kind of structured, because if you get too complex, it's going to take so much longer to explain. So, you know, as I said before, there's always lots of different ways of doing things in FlutterFlow. So, yeah, yeah, just be patient. Well, question got, and what would you say is the best way to learn, get comfortable with FlutterFlow? Whoa, okay. Well, one thing the FlutterFlow team are doing at the moment is they're putting a lot of time and effort into their FlutterFlow University program. I think this has been coming for a while, but I think John, the guy who's actually been doing the videos, I think at the time, I think before when they were looking, I think I was watching one of their streams, and I think John was occupied into some commercial work at that particular time, so he wasn't doing anything on that side. He was doing training in different ways, but it looks like they've now got the time and space now to actually to put that university program together. So you're going to see loads of videos coming from the FlutterFlow team, and certainly John, and he does a really great job at the videos. And I can appreciate as well how long they must take to kind of put together. So that they'll obviously be trickle fed. They'll come out over a particular time. I think what I'm trying to do on my channel though is I'm trying to put content together which is you know, it's just walkthrough style. And I remember you know, all these years ago where I you know, in my earlier days of kind of learning and using YouTube and all that kind of stuff, there's some great sort of tutors and educators out there and content creators that I followed over the years, and I love the whole walkthrough style. I love just sitting there and actually just like slowly walking through and building something. And it takes me back to my really early days of programming, where I used to buy magazines and I used to have all of the programming code actually in the magazine. I used to have like a BBC you know, BBC computer, and I used to sit there and I used to just, you know, type the stuff in and just follow it. And it's kind of always stuck with me that actually the walkthrough stuff is actually really good. If you've got the patience and you don't mind sitting down and just watching it through, I do like that style of teaching. So I hope you've anybody who's been following in my series, that you found that being quite useful. But please do give us the feedback. If you think I'm going too slow or you want me to go a bit faster, then please let me know. What else we got here? Do you do private consultancy? I've been asked this a number of times actually about private consultancy. I don't really. I don't do FlutterFlow full time. I actually work in software development. That's what I actually do as my day job. But I don't do so much of the hands-on stuff in recent years, more sort of management style. So what I do here though, I spend a lot of time in UI and UX. That's kind of what my background is. And I've worked many years in software development as well. I used to be an ASP.NET developer. So I used to build a lot of not so much client-facing applications, but more kind of sort of business sort of administration type systems. So I've got experience in software development from that side, and also as well from UI UX. I've built a number of applications which are used by lots of customers. So I do have a passion for both, but I do have a passion for doing this kind of stuff as well. So yes, Edwin, yes, FlutterFlow is your hobby. Well, you know, it's hobby. I have done some applications in FlutterFlow before. I can't tell you what those applications are because that would be wrong of me. I'll get us slapped. But But yeah, no, but this is very much like, I very much enjoy the whole kind of no code space. Really been following it now for quite a number of years and seen it develop, and it's really getting to a really fantastic stage where it's hard to actually keep up with the no code space. But FlutterFlow is definitely the tool of choice for me, because it has that creative side. You can really put something together really quickly. I mean, I put this application together. I know it doesn't do a lot, but I put it together within just literally a couple of hours. And like I said, once you kind of grasp the basics, the world is your oyster. But certainly, if people haven't got huge amounts of UI skill, then make sure you draw inspiration from what's out there. It's not wrong to kind of look at what these creators are doing out there and kind of be inspired and try to replicate what they do, and that way you get to learn. Like I said, this here, if you look at the Fuse application here, you can see this dashboard here, the navigation on the left hand side. It's not particularly too dissimilar to kind of what's being produced here. So yeah, okay, the icons are slightly different. It's the only downside about with kind of the icons that you kind of get, the font awesome stuff, is they're not particularly great. So if you are creating some really good looking applications, you want to invest a little bit of money and get some decent icons, just some icon packs or something like that off the web that you've got the license to use. I highly recommend it. These ones in this particular application are not standard material or font awesome type icons. They're definitely ones that are from a pack of some kind. I mean, I could be wrong, I guess, but they look like they come from some. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see without going into the code. I wouldn't know. But yeah, certainly, definitely invest some money in some decent icons for sure. But yeah, like I said, it doesn't look too dissimilar. I mean, yeah, the typeface is a little bit sort of different size and stuff like that. I did publish this out actually. This is the actual web version here. So the good thing, obviously, when you publish out to the web, although it takes a little bit of time, it's much more crisper, much nicer, and works and behaves like a proper kind of web application as well. So of course, you can't expect the FlutterFlow sort of the preview to be hugely performant, because otherwise we'll be there forever waiting for this stuff to kind of produce. But yeah, I'm building web apps in FlutterFlow is fantastic. Let's put that back there. Let's go back here. What else we got going on? So yeah, let's go back to the conditional builder. Let's go back to these here. So we've already spoken about the container, and we know we can interchange these particular showing UI builder, which is really handy. If you're building lots of widgets in here, you can go in here and you can actually edit in line, which is really nice. And again, I've only been playing with this for like the last, sort of couple of hours really, since it's been sort of released. So I'm sort of still finding my way actually. But yeah, let's actually just go back in here. Let's have a look at some of these here. So yeah, so I've got some conditions here that's just going into my app state, and it's just actually looking to see if the selected value is set to true. If it is, then we know that our first condition is met, and of course our panel will be displayed. So it's great to do it like this instead of putting like loads and loads of widgets on here with conditional visibilities on. This is just a new way of doing that kind of thing, which is really handy. I haven't seen that video. Just in the chat there. Actually, the newest video from the FlutterFlow 15 minutes ago is the brilliant advice for what tools. What tools might be used to come up with the UI design quickly. Yeah, I've not seen that video. I must say, I've been out of YouTube for a couple of hours because I've been setting this this live stream and stuff up. But yeah, I'll take a look. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Let's do that. Let's just duplicate this component. Let's just yeah, let's just page there. Let's just change this this text up here. I keep double clicking this page. That okay. So just a simple page. let's go back to the admin home. Let's what should we do here? Let's go into the navigation. Let's go down here. Let's now just let's just duplicate this particular one. So we've got one down here. Let's go into the text. Okay. Page. Oh. Page in there. Just change something else. I'll do. So let's go into the app state then. Let's go down here. Let's go into our screens. Let's add another one in here. Let's call this, my key is going to be test page. Just save that. So we've got 3 screens now set up in here. Let's go back. So what we can do is, let's just put that in there first. Let's go back to here. Let's go back to the conditional builder. Of course, I've got the filtering up here as well. They keep adding all these features in, and I know this has been here for a little while, but I'm so used to just clicking away. I'm more of a clicky person, so apologies if it feels like in some of the videos I go long-winded routes to get to stuff, but it's just by habit. So yeah, let's just put a little plus in here. So what I'll do is let's have a look here. So let's actually show it in UI Builder. And then what we can do is here, we can actually go into this placeholder that's just down here. Let's hit the little plus. I was right at the bottom of the screen. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. It's just at the bottom of the screen. Plus, let's go up to the components. Let's find that little test page that's just there. So we've now got our test page in view. So as far as the kind of conditional builder is concerned, it has what it needs in order to show the test page. We just need now to actually set the value in here. So first item. So what we're going to do is we are going to. I've got there's something quite wrong here actually. I've got a bit of a difference here in how I'm actually implementing this. I've just spotted that. So list item at index. So I'm actually going specifically to 0. And here I'm actually doing the first line item selected equals true. So yeah, so what I've done is here is there's a difference between two. Here I'm just putting out the 0 index. Here I'm actually filtering and I'm looking for the key of analytics. And then I'm actually saying the item at index is the first one. So you've got a choice. You can either do a filter in your kind of your app state, looking for the key of analytics. So I suppose you can use both techniques, to be quite honest with you. Filtering is probably better because you're using the key there. The key is then used throughout the rest of the actual application, so it's consistent. I think that's probably, I've got in my actions that I showed earlier on, I actually had a 0 index in there, which isn't really ideal. I need to really change this to actually be the filtering. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't like the way I've implemented that. I think that looks pretty ugly, actually. I'm just going to go back to the so I did it here, didn't I? Yeah, I did it here in the uptight. So I'm setting either the 1 or the 2 there. Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just copy that one I've got there. right, conditional builder. So I think we'll keep the filter one here. So it's quite nice. We can just go here and then paste that in. And then we'll just go down to the second value here. Sorry, the first value. So what did I call it? I think it was a test page, wasn't it? So just to recap then, what we're actually doing is, so we're going into data, we've got a data structure field. That's what we're kind of checking our condition on. We're pulling out screens, which is the list of screens within our app state. We are filtering down. So we're doing a filter. We've got the item in list. So we're going to look for the key called test page, which is what we just created just a moment ago. So we'll find that. I've got a little window here. I need to get out of the way. Confirm that. And we've got the item in the index. It's the first one that we're going to pull out. We know we're going to get a match here. It's the first one back. The data structure field is what we're looking for, and it's the selected. We've got a key and we've got selected, and so that's what we're looking for. Is equal to then true, and then of course that means that one will actually display the test page. So it's quite straightforward. Let's just I need to do one more thing here. We need to actually do this magic here. So within inside this particular container, let's go over to the actions, open, and we clear down there, and we go in here. We update the field. We just need to simply go in here, and we're just going to say 2. We know it's the third screen that we got. Just say done. And we should find that should. I need to do a new session. Should load up. Well, I'll put this. I'll put this as a clonable project up, so you guys can have a little play around with it. You can actually looking and see for yourself kind of how things are kind of hooked up. It's no problem. So how's that going up here? Oh, you have to make sure you got the tab there. Otherwise you don't get it. If you don't wait for this screen to come up when you're in test mode, it seems to just sit there. Of course, the animation won't play properly because I haven't set the mouse region. It will probably start the animation of one of the other. Come on. You can just see it. Oh, what have we done wrong? What have I done wrong? I did set this up okay, didn't I? Oh, it disappeared. I'll hit save. I didn't hit save. There you go. Obviously, I need to sort out the mouse regions here because it's playing the wrong animation, but you get the idea. It's really straightforward. This new conditional widget, it's fantastic. What else have we got going on? In the comments, guys, feel free to chuck out there kind of what your sort of experience level is with FlutterFlow at the moment. Just give me an idea of whether you kind of just started in FlutterFlow, you're just finding your way around. And of course, again, please do comment on any particular sort of content you want me to sort of try and produce on the channel as well. I don't mind. I've done a number of different videos now on comments from the community that I've put out there. of course, remember, do follow me on Twitter as well. There's my tag there, the Digital Pro. Yeah, do follow me on there. More than happy to have more people follow me on Twitter. And of course, just a little plug for the channel as well. If you're not currently a subscriber, please do subscribe to the channel as well. It's been really quite a journey, actually. So I started this channel back in the end of February, no, maybe the beginning of February, and I'm really pleased on how it's kind of grown. Really, I wasn't kind of expecting to kind of get up to nearly 1,500 subscribers now on the channel. So it's really been a fantastic journey. Really, been really enjoying it. Yeah, QR codes. Yeah, I've had a few people ask me about QR codes in FlutterFlow, and I did take a quick look at this before about using like a custom widget to do QR codes. So just go to pubdev and pull in a third-party dependency to do QR codes. I'd be interested to know what you'd want to use QR codes for. Would you want them to be on the web, or would you be looking to have them in mobile? I always find it a bit crazy having a mobile phone that displays a QR code, because you then kind of expect somebody else to be scanning your phone. But it depends on kind of what use case you've got, whether you'd be looking to have like a system that kind of, for a reason you sort of scan your phone over and something happens on another system. Tom, you're just starting out. Welcome to FlutterFlow. Tom, have you come from any other kind of like sort of no-code platforms, or are you just kind of like is this your first time using sort of this type of tool? But yeah, Michael, do let me know about the QR codes, and whether you be using on the web or you be using on mobile. I'll make a note. That has been asked before. QR codes, so I can do something on that. Okay, got ya. Yep, so no problem. Yeah, I'll see if I can cover something on that. It's no problem. I've done QR codes in other applications before. That's no problem. A couple of little bits that to mention to you guys about, and it's around the responsiveness of the actual pages. Just a couple of bits I'll cover with you. Just it's worth considering these. If I just turn this one in. So as I showed on the demo here, let's go back to the web version here, and now just F12 it. And we've got the resize handles here on the left-hand side. So you can see here, as I sort of bring kind of like the bits in, you can see here that there's a typeface difference in change there. You can just see now, you can see the typeface is just slightly changing to a smaller version. If I keep going back in, it just makes a slight little adjustment again. So with the responsive, one thing that's really quite important that you need to set out right from the beginning, and it's worth making a note of this, is that when you are in the to try and remember this is probably I keep forgetting. Here we go. It's in the design system. Since they've moved it, I have to go in a different place. It's worth making a note of these breakpoints. Now, the breakpoints that have been put in here are you know, it's kind of what the FlutterFlow team have kind of preset with inside the actual projects. And to be honest with you, they're pretty accurate actually. It's always worth making a note of these, because when you are handling changes in your widgets in terms of the actual, you know, the kind of the breakpoints, by having a note of these is really important. And I'll show you why, because if I go back here and I go back to this components, if I go back to the projects component here, and if I just click the text here, you can see I've got some conditions that's set. So on the font size, I'm changing the font size depending on the actual condition of the screen, the actual screen width. So you can see here that what I've done is I've actually put in here those actual breakpoints themselves. So it's greater than or equal to 991. I'm setting it at 32. So it's obviously the largest size. Anything below 479, I'm setting it to 24. So almost like, you know, mobile sort of size. So I reduce the font size there. And of course, down here, everything else is just 28. So it's kind of like, you know, halfway in the middle. But so it's important because, so I've got them here as 991, 479. But what I need to do in this particular project is I need to actually take these out. And what I should really be doing is I should be putting these, in my opinion, of course, there's different ways of doing this, but in my opinion, is putting these actually set within inside the application state, or, you know, some level of configuration somewhere where I can reference these. And of course, if I ever want to change in the future these actual breakpoints, I know that I've only got to do them in the application state. And also as well, you then would just go in here and you just make the change in just one particular place. So just a little tip there that you should always, you know, try to standardize, you know, your kind of your breakpoints, but make sure that they're referenced maybe in like the app state. You know, you can put them here and just set your breakpoints in here, and then just call them into the application state and pull them out. So you can do that check there. I haven't done that in this particular example, but it's something that I should do really. What else have I done here? This container that that actually sits on the background here, I've done the same kind of thing. I'm setting the height. So again, the screen width again is 991. I'm setting the height to be 260. Of course, less than that 180, and then 280 in the middle. And you know, in the application, you can, I'll go back here. You can kind of see that play out this panel here. You can just see that probably just reduce the size slightly. You can't really see it too well, but it is definitely getting smaller. Of course, they've changed the icons as well here. These are a little bit more easier to kind of understand now, these icons here on the display. You know, just a quick cursory glance, you can see that, you know, where, you know, this sort of the alignments are now set, which is quite nice. I'm still having trouble getting used to the expansion icons here. I'm trying to think what other changes that they've made actually inside FlutterFlow. It's always a surprise when they release something that you kind of see, you know, what have they done? What's new? Hello, Ninus Games. That's obviously not your name, but ranking possible with FlutterFlow. Tell us what you mean by that. Ranking possible with FlutterFlow. You're talking about calling out to something like Firebase or something like that, and you want to kind of rank the position of widgets. Wow, I've been going over an hour. Can time fly? Of course, if anybody sees any design systems or anything like that on the web, and they want me to look at as a possible option for putting together something similar within FlutterFlow, my ultimate goal is to create a design system in FlutterFlow that you can kind of like, you know, you can sort of just pull from the marketplace, and then you've kind of got sort of pre-built sort of styles that is well constructed, well put together. You know, all the proper paddings and you know all the typefaces and all that kind of stuff is all nice. You can use it as a base project that you can use. So that's where I want to get to. Something, a little tip for you. Don't know if anybody's kind of spotted this, but let's say, for example, let me see if I can find an example here. Here we go. This text. Let's say I want to right click on that and I want to save it as a theme style widget. And I just put in here, let's just going to put, I'm going to call this one text secondary style. So if I actually now go into the themed widgets and I go to, they've got this bug in Flutter. I'm sure there's a bug in FlutterFlow that you don't get any preview for these texts. You get these like square box. What's going on there? God, why is this background like that? Okay, it's not a particularly good example, is it? Let me change the color. I'm sure that never happened before. I'm sure I could see my text in there. It was this little option up here. I don't know if you guys have seen this linking option. Now, what you find is if you keep that linked, then you find that when you actually then apply this theme style to another widget, you'll find it takes the text with you. So you want to, you'll see there's various options depending on what widget you're actually setting the actual theme style. You want to turn that off. So then, you can just use this like a, hello world in here, and it won't carry the text across when you actually apply the style. So you'll see these little links will be on a number of different different types of widgets. So it doesn't carry those, the values across. It's really annoying sometimes that I create these set styles. I set them inside the actual the widget tree, and then I actually then apply that the actual style. And then it then takes out what I've actually put into the UI builder and puts in what's actually in there. So yeah, look out for that little link option there. Just cancel that. Well, I wasn't expecting the cancel to delete my my theme there. Oh, look, we've got a crash. Okay. Anything else to mention today? Eunice, do mention in the comments what you mean by ranking with inside FlutterFlow. What would you like me to cover? Also, I can take that away and so it's always worth having the resize handles on, folks, for actually working on the actual screens as well. Just gives you that some instant sort of visual feedback here in terms of some of the responsive stuff if you're working responsively. So definitely always worth putting those on there just to give you a quick preview, saves you having to keep building all the time. Although you're going to get the best example. Awesome tip. I think it's new. When dragging widgets onto the canvas and keeping shift press allows you to select the parent to be. Okay, yeah, not tried that. One thing I've reached out to the FlutterFlow team for is to get some idea of the actual release notes that when they actually launch something, that we get a better idea of kind of what's actually being released. As the sort of, as a FlutterFlow ambassador, you really want to try and take receipt of sort of earlier on some of the stuff that actually gets released, so it gives us a bit more of a heads up. in terms of what's sort of coming. But a release notes would be really, really useful because there's stuff that's appearing in this product that it just literally appears. You don't kind of get any warning; it just lands. Now, I knew that we knew that the conditional builder was coming. I know they've alluded to it on some of their streams before, and I was really looking forward to that to actually drop because that's going to speed up a lot of work, and you can use it in so many different ways. With regards to login and registration for mobile, what would you recommend for inviting people to your app? Then the registration knows it is an invite user, something like that. Oof. So you need to find a hook that I mean, there's just general concepts of sort of URLs that you can actually uh, sort of click on that takes you to particular stores and stuff like that. Um, recommend for inviting? It's a good question. That I don't have anything off the top of my head. So you'd want to know that it's an invite user. So you'd almost need to pass something actually in. I've done in the past. I've done in mobile apps. I've done sort of codes that you could associate with somebody signing up. That they could that's so if it's so they can only actually sign in if they've actually got an invite. They can actually only create an account if they've got an invitation code, but they have to key that actually into a text field. And then of course you can then use that. You can use that to look up in a list of invitation codes that's been issued, ensure that the user who's signing up is who they say they are. But actually passing it through to the mobile, I'm not quite sure. But that's a good question. Again, I'll save in the chat. So some of this stuff I'm gonna, anybody's putting any comments on here, I'll go away and I'll see if I can answer some of these questions. +1 for release notes, yeah, definitely. What else are we doing here? Inside this app here, as I said, I'm not particularly too crazy about the way that so the conditional visibility is really just hooked on to this is visible property. So of course, that's just a simple sort of toggle on, toggle off as we hit this particular icon here. So that's nothing too crazy here. The navigation container has got an animation set against it on the trigger. So you can see it just slides off and it's -280. So one thing I picked up from the inspiration site is that this was kind of 280. So I replicated that here at 280 and I'm literally just sliding that off to the left-hand side by 280. So anything you do, it's always worth making sure that your widths are, when you're doing animations, that you get them almost definitely dead right. Otherwise, if you took that too high, then your animation is not going to play out correctly. And certainly if you're bringing it back in again on a reverse, if you don't have your numbers right here, it either take longer or shorter. Well, often longer if your numbers are higher. So make sure your animations are quite true to the size of the containers. The FlutterFlow team doing an amazing job week on week. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're promising lots of new stuff. And they were demonstrating on their live stream this week on the AI gen for sort of for schemas, which was quite something actually. Have they actually put that in there now? No, nothing's there yet. So that looks like that's coming. That'd be quite smart. So you can sort of say, provide me a sort of profile schema or something like that, and it sort of pre-builds it for you, so you don't have to, come up with your ideas. Comments had a challenge. I think it's a bug. Storing a file document ref to an app state variable. Document reference. I wonder why you would have that problem storing a document reference to an app state variable, because surely it's just a string, right? I've not experienced that, but then I don't think I've ever tried storing a document reference with inside app state. I can certainly try that on I can do that on a offline and see if I get the same problem. Just another thing on here. What else we got going on? So with inside this particular projects page here, we know that we've got responsive, we've got simple conditionals that's on here. So simply what I'm doing on this particular row, you can see here we've got the visible, sorry, not conditionals, the responsive visibility. So on here you can see that actually I'm only showing these buttons when it's in a landscape tablet or it's on a desktop. I'm hiding them for the mobile devices here. Only a landscape, but obviously a portrait tablet. Of course, as soon as I bring these in, the rules kick into place. And then I'm doing the opposite for these particular icon buttons as well. So as you can see up here, I've literally just got it around the other way around. I've got these being visible on the phone and then visible on the tablet. So pretty well much that's kind of how it works through FlutterFlow. You'll probably find you'll be spending a huge amounts of time setting up the responsive visibility when you're actually working in sort of like mobile or applications that work across multi devices. But the good thing is you can tend to a lot of this stuff you can copy and paste, although the conditional visibility you can't. You just got to work with those manually. I always think you should always work on don't leave it too late with the responsive visibility stuff, because it takes quite an effort to go back over what you're doing and put all of that stuff in. So if you can work on it as you're building it, it makes perfect sense. Right. Yeah, being able to clone project really helps me to learn and follow along. Yeah. So what I did in my recent series in the building the goals app, what I tried to do is I tried to, at all of the convenient points, is provide the application to be clonable, so you can then commence and carry on at that particular point. And what's also useful as well is that you can then cross-check the cloned project with what you may have been building during the walkthrough, just in case you stumble across a problem. It's something I didn't do in the very first series of building, the sort of like the beginner's crash course, because that was one of my very, very first series on the channel that I was really just finding my feet in that series. But now I'm a little bit more, sort of up to speed on what people are kind of would be expecting, then I'll be putting that sort of stuff in. But to where you would, I mean, the marketplace obviously is like an awesome place for projects that you can clone. I don't know if we've seen it. Have we got anything updated today? Updated. Let's have a look here. Bluetooth and IoT integration. Okay. New template app landed. Bluetooth. That's one that I've not seen yet. The Internet of Things, device and mobile apps. Okay, this comprehensive project showcases how to create cross-platform mobile apps using FlutterFlow that communicates with IoT devices via Bluetooth Low Energy. Okay, pretty smart. It's obviously a specific use case there, but it just goes to show that we're really sort of adding some awesome stuff onto the marketplace there. But yeah, I mean, the marketplace is a great place. I mean, some of the stuff is a bit old. I know that Andrew on the FlutterFlow team is, going through some of the stuff that he's put together, and he's kind of like updating it. But that's going to be slow progress. But yeah, I mean, in terms of on YouTube, I noticed that on YouTube, a lot of streamers and YouTube content creators, they seem to put sort of paywalls behind some of their clone projects. It's not something I plan to do. Anything that I build on my channel, I'll always try to make it available. I don't think it's particularly helpful. I know they've obviously got their own reasons behind it, and for their own community, building up their own communities. But for myself, I don't plan to do anything like that. I'd rather kind of keep it pretty well much open. So yeah. But yeah, nothing new on the marketplace in the last few weeks for me. Oh, excuse me. All right, mobile phone go. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I mean, that's I hope you guys found something there to gain from this. I really just wanted to kind of push something out, just to kind of test one, sort of the streaming and all that kind of stuff. I'll make sure they're a little bit more structured next time. It was a bit of an impromptu kind of stream, but what I'll do is I'll carry on building out this particular application, and I'll cover some more stuff on this particular project over the sort of the weeks that as I sort of add more to it. And yeah, please do keep keep liking the videos. Obviously, do also appreciate all the likes on the videos, and please do feel free to reach out to me on Twitter if there's anything you want me to kind of cover in the future. I'm more than happy to take requests. And yeah, hope you found something useful. And yeah, I'll look forward to catching up with everybody in the not too distant future. So thanks for joining this stream. I think it's time for me to get another coffee, I think. Take it easy, everybody. We'll speak to you real soon.